Damon, thank you. And to get things rolling, let me ask you, you just gave us a lovely and fascinating discussion of the problems with having operations issues interrupt developers as they're working. What does PagerDuty do to help? I mean, you didn't really get in to make the pitch there. So I'm going to ask you, what does PagerDuty
Sure.
do?
I mean, we help people do just that, right? So if you think about really two things, number one is that response loop, right? So how do we make that response loop as tight as possible? So from the detection of the work, right, our AIOps solutions, from the mobilization and automation of do we need to get humans involved? Who are the right involved? How do we make sure they have the right information? That's the kind of the automated diagnostics, which our customers have led us towards. They want to be able to know, is this an incident and actually what's actually happening? Instead of we have got to call the 10 people to come in and do their things to say, is this okay or not? Can we just do it all for them, right? And then can we give them a palette of standard operating procedures to try to, number one, kind of triage and restore or fix, the problem, and then learn from that loop. And then a big part of that is also enabling the self-service, right? How do you enable more people to do what previously you had to escalate to the experts to do? So it's very interesting. We're historically a incident response company, right? Really focused on alerts in, broadcast alerts out, right? And then, our kind of really more thoughtful customers have pulled us in this direction of saying, hey, there's, a formalization, there's a whole life cycle here that we need to handle, and we can't just keep stuff into ticket queues and expect that the human response is going to be fast enough.
One of the things that we at Nemertes have followed in our research over the years, and that is endlessly interesting to me, is enterprise trust relationships with automation products, and the fact that there's a big leap, two big leaps really, that have to go on to really get the mileage out of a tool. One being the leap of trusting the tool to put together the correct response when something has happened and show it to me and say, is this what you want to do? And letting me do it. So first putting the thing up there to let me press the button to make it happen. And then, like, almost exponentially more difficult to achieve, the level of trust that says, just tell me you did this thing, don't wait for me to push the button. Are you seeing a lot of progression along that curve with the folks who are using your systems?
Yeah, and it's really kind of twofold, right? One of them is what I would call like the self-service for self-service, right? There's enough knowledge in your organization to do the elemental automation, the moving the bits from point A to point B, the generating configurations, that's all there. So coming in and saying, we do that better is just it's a non-starter, right? So you need to elevate that, let people work with the skills they have, and then give them the ability to stitch that together into a higher level, safer procedure. So it's all based on the knowledge you have to have in-house. And, the second is we see people as, sort of the measure twice, cut once kind of concept, that really where people get the most benefit is in the diagnostic side, right? So automating, telling me what's going on with my systems, it's safer and it's more useful, right? Actually, once they know what the problem is, almost everybody knows what to do, right? It's knowing what to do when is the easy part. Once you know what the problem is, the hard part is knowing what the problem is. So don't focus on, we're going to start by automating the fix. Start by automating the diagnostics, which was a really fascinating thing we saw kind of bubble up from our community, which is, little things we can automate the fix. But really the problem is this a problem, right? Where's the problem? Going deep on what are all the things my expert would do when they logged in and checked these 30 things, raise that up, provide that in also with the context of all the monitoring data as well. It's beyond monitoring. It's the investigatory side. So automating the investigation, the health checks, the diagnostics, whatever you want to call it, that's where people get the biggest leaps forward. And then, automating the actual fix part almost becomes trivial and often is just reusing what they've already done on the deployment side.
Great. Thank you. That's all we have time for on the Q&A side. So let me say thank you, Damon, for your time today.